Hello, ladies. Welcome to Fit Club Remote. Pandemic continues, and yet you are here. I'm so proud of you. I hope you're proud of yourself. We're going to start with a little side to side. Now, if you have knees that don't like lateral movement, you can make this workout a little slow.
60 seconds.
Start to feel it out. But we're looking for soft knees, soft hips, and a little bit of engagement through the core. And one thing I want you to think about as we move through this sort of lateral warm-up series is your knees. A lot of times I see this, people they'll kind of lead with their ankles and their knees kind of fallen. I want you to make sure that your knees are pointing straight forward and that you're leading with the outside of the leg, outside of the knee even, not so much the heel. The heel shouldn't be beating everything else. Good. Now I'm going to have you get a little bit lower, and you're going to make those side-to-side steps just about as wide as you can. Space allowing. Little bit of ab engagement, flat lower back. 1, 2, 1, 2. You notice we have a little bit of equilibrium. Now, we're going to syncopate this pace just a little bit. So instead of 1, 2, 1, 2, it'll look like 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. Good. And I'd like you to get those arms going just a little bit. Opposing arms, just like a jog or a walk. Good. 1, 2, 1, 2. Now, if this is plenty, if you have to focus on your form, if you feel any discomfort in your back or your knees, you can come up a little bit, but you're going to stay right here. For people who are maybe a little bit more advanced, maybe it's cold in your house. You want to get a little bit warmer. You're going to bring that knee up and up and up. Good. So we're kind of turning this into a skater. Begin side to side. Beautiful. And if you like, we're going to add a little bit of air over. Good. It's like you've got like a shallow stream right underneath your feet. You're going to go from one bank to the other bank. Beautiful. And that heart rate should be coming up. The air should be coming. Core temperature, get a little bit warmer. Those muscles always move easier when it's faster. Good. Getting you nice and warm.
Stop exercise.
And we're going to go ahead and bring those knees together. Good. So you'll notice I'm doing a little bit of a march here, not exactly a high knee, a little bit lower, hips slightly back, belly button in. We're going to get those arms going.
3.
And we're going to start to sprint. Now sometimes I'll see a lot of bouncing here, like people kind of hop. Not with this one. With this one, I want you to glide. Your body is very stable, core is tight, maintaining this very equal while your legs are going quick. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. If you've ever seen flash dance, you should be slightly reminiscent of flash dance. Good. Gorgeous. As soft landings as you can for 4, 3, 2, 1. Good. Go ahead and shake it out. Feet a little bit wider than hip distance apart. We're going to go into a little squat series. Hands at the chest. You're going to send your butt back. Small bend in the knees. Nothing too crazy. 4. And up and open. Up. We are trying to find our range of motion with our upper body here. Warming up those legs. Every time you sit your hips back, you're really sitting into those heels. And I want you to drive your heels up, squeeze those glutes. The core is staying nice and tight. A lot of times when people do these big circles, they tend to hyperextend their back and send their chest forward. Glutes and core are engaged. Good.
Stop exercise.
Beautiful.
And switch to the next station.
4, 3, 2, 1. Very good. Feet out, nice and wide. Toes turned out. I'm going to turn on a slight angle, just so you can see exactly what I'm doing here, because one of the biggest things I see with this guy is the knees want to fall in.
Set 1.
Your job is to press those knees apart. They need to be on the same plane as your toes. Hands at your chest. You're going to come down First thing you're gonna do is just check on your form. Oh, check it out. My knees and my toes look pretty good. Chest is high. Make sure that we're not caving or slouching. Core is lightly engaged. And once all of that is in place, we're gonna pulse. Good. It's a cold day today.
Stop,
So we are not gonna stop. We're gonna hold the pulse, get rid of the pulse, pardon me, and hold the squat during the break. Set 2, we add the pulse back in. Beautiful. We're gonna change that just slightly every time. So this time you're gonna come down, 2, up 1, come down, 2. So we're spending more time in the lower position. Up and 1, 2. Up and down, good. Now, this depth is really going to be dictated by how healthy your knees are feeling today. If your knees are good though, I really want you to see how far down you can go. Up and 1, 2. It should be burning now. Good, you can go ahead and take your break this time. Whew. These new leggings, I always gotta break them in a little bit before they fit properly. Gorgeous, all right. Sets 3 and 4. Let's get it started a little bit early, shall we? No pulsing this time.
3.
This time, we're gonna drop to our lower level, as far down as your knees can comfortably tolerate. We're gonna bring hands up. We're gonna throw in some jabs. 1, 2, 1, 2. Now we have an immense amount of stability in the legs. You notice I am moving my torso just a touch, but you don't have to. If you feel any sort of discomfort in your lower back, you can stay really nice and still, just like this. That's okay. I'm just used to moving my torso.
Stop.
In boxing, that's how you add some power. Good. But what I don't want is moving through the legs. Legs, ooh, are very, very stable. Stay low. Here's our break. We're getting rid of the punches. If you're really crying, you can add some pulses. Good. 3, 4. Here's set 4. Instead of the jabs, uppercuts. Upper. Good. Again, it's possible to do this with a very stable torso. That's just fine. I'm used to move my rib cage just a little bit. If you're doing that, keep your core tight. Actually, your core should be tight anyway. What am I saying? Good. An uppercut is basically if someone's face were right here, you're going to come up under their chin. That's an uppercut. Good. It's distracting you from the warmth in your legs. Excellent. Ooh, mama. All right, we need a couple of butt kickers. Just work that out. We're going to do planks next. So we're going to transition into an elbow plank here with a toe lift. Now I'm going to do this with my feet on the wood. I just find it more stable. Whew. So first things first. Tailbone is tucked, lower back is nice and flat. Belly button is up and into the spine. Glutes are engaged. Once you have all of that, then you're going to bring your feet all the way together. You're going to take one toe off the floor and point, and then set it back down. Other toe up and point. Now, when I say you're bringing your foot up, I mean barely.
Stop exercise. I
don't want, and here's your break, you can take it if you like. I don't want a big leg lift. What that's going to do is arch the lower back excessively and probably cause a little bit of fatigue or discomfort back here, and that's not what we're going for. You're squeezing your glute.
Begin, set,
you're hitting your heel up the tiniest little bit, just enough to point the toe. Good. Beautiful. So now I'm moving my left leg, point, squeeze that glute. Excellent. Your hips should not really be moving, meaning that you are also not dropping that hip. We're not looking for any twisting here. Beautiful. Squeeze that core, squeeze those glutes, and take your time.
Stop exercise.
There's the break. Knees down, hips back. Little child's pose. And if you're anything like me, your face should be bright pink. I did a Zoom workout class where we were doing planks, and of course the first thing,
Begin set
when I
3.
come up for my plank, the instructor's like, Nicole, red as a beet. Thanks, man. So nice. Good. All right, set 3. We're gonna get rid of the toe points. This time, we're gonna add a point forward with the arm. So, one elbow is gonna come up off the mat. Whoop, point forward, place it back down. Let's bring your feet out a little wider for this one, because we're looking for little to no rocking of the hips. At least that's what you're gonna go for.
Stop exercise.
Good, there's the break, knees down, hips back. Oh, these should be keeping you nice and warm. If you were wearing an extra layer and you haven't taken it off yet, well, keep it on if you want, but I feel like I'm not doing my job.
Begin set 4.
All right, set 4, last one. Now, if for any reason, either of these, the toe point or the arm point, isn't good for your shoulders, your back, whatever, go to the one you like better. Or just hold a normal plank, that's okay too. Whew. It's really hard to not rock my hips on these. But the whole point is just to try. Good. Beautiful.
Stop exercise and switch to the next position.
Let's go ahead and turn over onto our backs. Also, I'd like you to grab your hand weights. Get ready for endurance bridges with tricep work. It's gonna be the best. So
begin set 1.
Driving through the heel, hips are up off the mat. First thing I want you to do is press down. 70% of your weight should be in your heel, meaning that your toes are still on the floor. Your glutes are squeezed hard and your belly button is in. Go ahead and press the weights up. We're gonna go into a tricep skull crusher. Full extensions. Take your time here. You wanna make sure that those elbows are stacked right on top of the shoulders. A lot of times I'll see people kind of move at the shoulder. We want that upper arm here to stay extremely stable. Good, so we're in a break technically. If your lower back is getting a little tired, you can always take your breaks, but I'm gonna work on through. Here's set 2. Good, see if you can increase the range of motion. If you have an elbow injury, you can go small. That's totally fine. But if you can kind of bring those weights all the way down by your temples, that's fabulous. You want those arms to stay pretty parallel to each other. Good, so sometimes we'll have people squeeze the weights together like this for their skull crusher. This time I want you to keep the weights.
Exercise.
Good, there's a break. Take it if you need it. I'm just gonna add a pulse to my butt. You can also put the weights down if you need a little break for your arms. I'm gonna keep a stabilization move here. Basically, I'm just holding them up and trying not to let them sway back and forth. Very good. Set 3, we're gonna change it up just a little bit. If you have light hand weights, especially, it'd be great if you could try this. Go ahead and come on down to 90 degrees and you're gonna hold. Good. Isometric here. Belly button is in, glutes are squeezed. Arms are bent and you should start to feel those triceps burning. Good. Whew. Full body exercise.
Stop exercise.
Excellent. I'm gonna take a little break here. Very nice, we're about to go into set 4. Set 4, the starting position is gonna be the same as your isometric move, meaning that your hips are gonna be up, arms are gonna be at 90 degrees.
Begin set 4.
Now from here, from your isometric position, here's set 4, we're going to add a little pulse. Now I'm gonna squeeze my weights together because sometimes my elbows act a little wonky on this one. We should be getting a very significant burn in those triceps by now, not to mention your booty. At the end of set 4, you're gonna turn over onto your hands and knees. You can put the weights to the side for the time being. Ah, burns.
Stop exercise
Good.
and switch to the next
All right.
station.
Go ahead and give yourself a real break here. You can pull the knees into your chest. I definitely need to. Very good. All right, now very mindfully, you're going to turn over onto your hands and knees. Push-up time. Now, I'm going to demo a knee push-up
Begin
first.
set 1.
I like to do a wider grip with my hands on my knees. Now, a lot of times I see people kind of put their butt up in the air. What I'd like you to try is bringing your hips down in line and doing your push-ups right here. Down and up. Now, if you have really sensitive wrists like me, you can always do monkey paw. Monkey paw is great. You'll notice that it keeps the wrist straighter. Very little bend. But you want to be up on your strong knuckles, the ones, the first knuckle here, okay? Sometimes I'll see people be right here, you know, so there's still a flexion in the wrist. Doesn't really do what we want it to. We want to be up like a monkey, okay? Set 2, same thing. I want you to master that straight line from the knee all the way up to the top of the head. 2. So, not only does that mean that you're not hiking your hips, you want to keep your hips straight, you also want to ensure that you're not sagging your hips. That's no good either. Down and up. Good. To turn my ring around, sorry. Nice and slow. Explore your range of motion here. Now, if this wide grip isn't very good for your shoulders, you're always welcome to do a narrow grip. Now, this is going to be slightly more challenging because it hits the triceps.
Stop exercise.
For some people, narrow is better. For some people, wider is better. Do what works for you. Set 3, we're going to change it up just a little bit. Now, keep your knee push-up if you need to, but I'm going to go into a full push-up.
Begin set 3.
So for full push-up, you're up on your toes. Hips in line, down and up, and then you're going to do shoulder tap. Tap, just 1. Down and up, that's 2. Good. Now you notice, because we're adding the tap, we're not doing as many reps, which is why I've gone to a full push-up. Now you can absolutely do this in a knee push-up, but because we're not doing as many reps,
stop exercise.
It might feel easier. If that shoulder tap, putting weight on one side like that, isn't good for your shoulders, don't do it. You don't need to. If it's not good for your back, don't do it. But you do want to make sure you keep your core really nice and tight. Notice I'm taking this full break.
Set 4.
Good. Set 4. Here we go. Why did I start doing full push-ups? It's kind of a moron. Good. Down, up, and tap. And again, you can do this narrow. Down, up, and tap. Whew. Now you'll also notice that I'm not getting as far down with my knee push-ups, or as far down as my knee push-ups, pardon me. That's because when things get a little harder, your range of motion is going to get a little bit smaller.
Stop exercise and switch,
but that
to
is
the next
okay.
station.
My goodness. All right, let's go ahead and come on up to standing. After all of that plank work, we're going to give your shoulders a little bit of a break. Go ahead and grab your hand weights. Roll those shoulders back and down. You're going to come up onto your toes. You're just going to hold it. Now, many times when people come up onto their toes, I see this little Michael Jackson knee pop forward. You want to keep your knees straight. The reason people tend to push their knees forward is because it takes all the work out of their calves. It's instinct kicking in. Good, nice and tall, a little bit of stability work here. You should feel your glutes squeezing. If you feel them squeezing, that's great. Squeeze them harder. Belly button is in.
Exercise.
Very good. Set 2, we're going to add a bicep curl. Now you can take a little break if you need to here. Or if you don't need it, come on up. Up and down. Good.
Begin.
Now, either position, this is an open hand. Whoop. See, it's stability work. This is an open hand, and this is a closed or narrow or parallel hand. hammer style bicep curl or open bicep curl, either is legitimate. I will say the hammer style tends to be a more neutral position for the shoulder and the elbow. Ooh, those calves should be on fire by now. Excellent, squeeze those glutes, core is tight.
Stop.
Ooh, go ahead and shake it out. Feet all the way together. We're gonna change it up a little bit. Hips back and down. Weight is going to be pressed into the belly button. Now, a lot of times I'll sort of cross the weights and link my hands. It's just easier for me to hold on to that way.
Set 3.
We're holding a chair pose. Weight is in the heel. For me, it's gonna be my right foot is gonna tap directly to the side and to the floor. Not back or forward, directly out to the side. And lift. Little pulses here. Now, if your knee really doesn't like being bent, you can do this standing. You're still gonna get that outer thigh, but this, the chair pose, is gonna give you some more quad work. And once again, stability. Core needs to stay nice and tight, especially when we're hinged here. I'm only taking the weights down to show you. Flat back, hinge, requires a nice tight core. There's the break. Go ahead and put that foot down, come all the way up. You're gonna give me a big hip roll. Yeah. Working all that tension out of that lower back. Feel a little sexy. All right, feet together. Hips back and down. Weight pressed into the belly button. Other foot out to the side. Whoop. And lift. Now you're probably gonna feel some work here. Probably also some work here. When the weight of your body goes out to the side like that, you notice how I have to compensate with my upper body. Sitting into this hip just a little bit. Now we don't want to overdo it. We don't want to like sink or collapse into that hip. Core should still be tight.
Stop exercise and switch to the next
3,
position.
2, 1. Excellent. Come on all the way up. We're going to go into an arm series. I know we did bicep curls before. We're going to do them again. Up and down. So now that we're not adding any stability work to this,
Begin set.
we're going to be focusing on pacing. So I know most home hand weights tend to be on the lighter side. If you're doing really heavy weights, if you happen to have really heavy weights and you're using them already, you do not have to go this fast. But try to keep pace with me as much as possible. Lots of control. Elbows stay right tucked into that waist. What we don't want is rolling forward, nor do we want them falling back. We want very, very stable, like you have to squeeze oranges underneath your armpits.
Exercise.
Good. 1, 2, 1, 2. Beautiful. Technically, this is the break, but are we going to take it? Not really. Good. And we have 4, 3, 2, 1. Bring the weights to the shoulders and pulse, pulse, pulse. Good. Now we have options here too. If your shoulders don't like a lot of overhead work, keep those elbows close to the body. That weight should always be stacked right on top of the elbow, no matter where you are, whether you're out here, or out here. The thing they all have in common is that forearm perpendicular to the floor. Good. So no falling here, no flaring here. Not so great. Good.
Stop. Exercise.
Now if you want this to be a little bit harder, you can go wide and or you can go higher. But as always, stacked weights. Very, very important. Beautiful. Neck is nice and long.
Begin set 3.
Going into set 3 in 3, 2, 1. Elbows in. Bicep curls once again. Now, if you did hammer before, you can try open palm. If you did open palm before, you can try hammer. I'm going to do open palm here. Now, one thing I want to point out is that open palm bicep curls, a traditional bicep curl, it's actually a fair amount, not a huge amount, but a fair amount harder than a hammer because of the distribution of weight, the fact that it's on the end of a lever.
Stop. Exercise.
Exercise geek. Good. And we have 3, 2, 1. Very good. Go ahead and face the palms behind you. Take a little letter A. step, very, very small. So it's not as big as the ones we often do here.
4.
That foot is back, you're gonna press it back. Now you notice that my torso is in line with my back leg. I'm not hunched way forward, nor am I arching back. Core needs to stay tight. And we should start to feel this in the back of the shoulder and the top of that tricep. Before, when we did our tricep skull crushers, you probably felt it more on the bottom of the tricep here, maybe in the belly. Now we're gonna get that top of the tricep. It's all, it's one long muscle, but you're gonna
stop exercise and switch to the
very
next station.
We have 4, 3, 2, 1. Go ahead and come up, take a real break. Roll those shoulders back and down. Work out those legs, and we're gonna finish up with some back exercises. Boom, we want that back to be looking nice.
Set 1.
In our holiday dresses that we wear for nobody, I guess. Let's go ahead and send that back leg all the way back. So this is a bigger letter A than we were before, big and wide, because we want to be able to get a deeper angle with our chest. Weight is going to float forward, so it's pointing directly down toward the floor. Elbows come up, we squeeze. Squeezing the shoulder blades. Good. Now, a couple things you can do to make this harder. The lower your torso is, the more you're gonna have to work against gravity. This does, however, for some people, work is a little tough on the lower back. If your lower back is strong, you wanna try this, that's okay. Good. Beautiful. If you don't want to do that, but you do want to make it a little harder and you have healthy knees.
Begin set 2.
Pop that back heel up, drop that back knee. Now you have a little bit of a row with a lunge. Most of the time when I teach a lunge, we stack right on top. However, the thing I care most about is the row. So if bending your knees, you lose your row form, don't do it, just keep doing your rows. Rows. Very important. All right, set 2. We are approaching the end of set 2. As we go into set 3, I'm going to show you a variation on this. Let's take a break first. If you have sensitive shoulders, you do not have to do this variation. You can go ahead and do exactly what you were doing before. I do, however, recommend switching feet so that you stay even. I'm going to do this variation kind of facing the camera so you can see exactly what I mean when I talk about a wide row. So it's the exact same starting position it was before, except this time your palms are facing back and the elbows are going to come out to this side. Good, so let me show you the difference. Palms are in, this is a narrow row. Palms are back, elbows wide row. Here's narrow, here's wide. Wide is going to hit that rear deltoid just a little bit more. It should feel slightly more challenging. The weight is farther away from the body, which tends to make things harder. You can take a break here if you need to. Do not forget the squeeze of the shoulder blades though. Always pinch. Neck is nice and long and pinch.
Begin set 4.
Beautiful. Set 4, your choice. You can do narrow, you can do lower, you can do lunge. You can do any of those things with wide. I'm doing lunge and wide. Why did I decide to do this? Good. Beautiful, ladies. Always wanting to push ourselves. We want to take care of our bodies, but I like giving you options to make things harder. Ooh, those thighs are burning. My back is burning. If mine is,
exercise.
Yours should be as well.
Your training is now complete.
Ooh, training is now complete. Very good. Please mindfully put down your weights. And I'm going to have you do a little stretch for your upper back. because that was a long time to be hinged doing rows. Palms are flat. You're going to face your palms the other way. Then you're going to cross them, and then you're going to plaster your palms together. Very gently apply pressure through your hands and let your back round forward. You should feel nice little stretch through the shoulder blades. Good. Big breath in and exhale. Release the pressure from your hands. Give me 3 luxurious shoulder rolls. That's 2. That's 3. I'm gonna come up and say hi.